Light and darkness. Clay's distinctive art style is kept in check by the game mechanics. No need to look at the top left icon to know if you are safely hidden, the ninja becomes one with the shadows. Then the character in grayscale suddenly come to life under a cone of light. Technically a gradient map, bringing colors to some the level's 20 plus layers. No compromise on the fluidity of the traditional looking flash animation despite the limitation of their game engine, called the Shanker from their 2010 side-scroller beat-em-up. In 2012, Clay released both Shank 2 and Mark the Ninja, the latter on Xbox 360 first, more ambitious title looking at Thief to bring stealth to 2D. Clay put in a lot of effort to keep the growing number of interaction with the world clear and intuitive, simulating ninja skills with on-screen button prompts, artificially limiting players' and guards' visibility to fit gameplay, representing sounds as expanding rings with limited range. Game logic comes first, artwork and realism later. For example, the ninja sticks to the walls and can peek around corners, pressing a button to change surface every time. Not the fastest way to navigate the level, but definitely the safest, considering the weight of the ninja's movement. He jumps as a cannonball is shot, a fixed parabolic trajectory, just slightly lower if you only tap the jump button. Moving between vents and hiding spots requires commitment. The focus is on timing inputs and using gadgets, not on platforming, plus navigation is aided by a grappling hook and the ability to stop time without any limit or penalty, which is explained by a special ink granting superpowers if used directly on the skin. These traditional Japanese tattoos make our ninja with no name the champion chosen to defend the Hisomu clan, with the first mark offering the mystical ability to pause the game. Not quite turn-based stealth. Clay will try that 3 years later in Invisible Ink, but enough to tip a balance between action and puzzle in favor of the latter. Stealth is planning your next move from the shadows, ready to react fast as a cold ghost operative, a bloodthirsty vengeful demon, or anything in between. The weighty animations and the simple point system nudge the ninja towards a careful, well-thought-out approach, but without any punishment for lethal takedowns. Quite the opposite, silent kills offer more points than the merciful alternative and have unnecessary but satisfying cinematic quick-time events, called Prowling Spider or Leap of Faith, the more realistic kind. 6 more can be unlocked to feel like a ninja superhero, a more honestly written and realistic Batman if you will, and through a dark violent cartoon it is also how the story is told, inspired by the more mature animated series of the 90s like Batman and Samurai Jack, but without the graphical restriction of television. The tale of the nameless smart ninja is concise and compact, divided in level only for players' convenience, with a few changes in scenery motivated by the narrative. Plot points and new mechanics go hand in hand. To avoid spoilers and keep this short, I'll discuss all the new gadgets, obstacles and plot twists during my 100% walkthrough on my other channel, link below. But to understand the design of Marco the Ninja in 7 minutes, we just need to look at the first level, because the priorities are clear from the very beginning. We need to evade guards before getting a sword, which cannot even be used in open combat, only on unaware or downed guards as a finisher, while bamboo darts have many interactions with the world. Breaking lights, making noise, activating traps, poking the guards, even staggering pursuers and breaking conveniently weak fuse boxes. Darts and grappling hook are also the only tools always equipped, so the game cannot ask for anything else to proceed, aside from a few tutorial moments when picking up something new. With player freedom as the guiding principle, Clay limited their own in creating fresh challenges, ending up with the usual optional objectives and a number of lasers and crates puzzles in separate rooms, where the only player's choice is whether to skip them or not. The game really shines when you simply need to cross a room with patrolling guards and deadly traps, maybe with an added self-imposed challenge. The repeated goals can be actually interesting on a meta level as hints to the devs' intentions, and they are necessary to unlock different costumes, tailor-made for alternative playstyles, an expert mode of sorts in which the ninja wears oni masks from Japanese folklore.
Still feels like we're being watched.
Of course, the guards are suitably dumb, rigid and loud, the exact opposite of a nimble protagonist, and everything we need is clearly shown. Noises and alarms, the lights and the guards' vision codes. Enemies have no hitbox to worry about, only a triangle of awareness alerting them instantly and a dangerous flashlight often pointed to the ground. If suspicion arises, these guards slowly swing their light around after a casual stroll as far as the platform goes. They have trouble around stairs and can jump only in a couple of places, unless you scare them that is, which can also break their AI completely if they survive the fall. After all, the guards are just obstacles in a stealth game, so why not drop the human facade and show what they really are, talky moving traps providing a trial to overcome, with a danger level between lumps and laser activated turrets. Even more so with snipers who can spot you in the dark and one-shot you, almost as deadly as the other lasers. And the faint red lines makes it clear that they follow lasers' rule, ignoring light and darkness as machines disguised as humans. They still react to sounds, but only as far as they can rotate, with each part moving separately in this engine, adding to the machine feel. What's more, from a programming standpoint, it is the alarm trigger itself that checks if a guard or two are in range, which makes the guard's AI even simpler and
Check that out, will ya?
sound very natural, a perfect illusion of humanity.
Hey, I heard you were on the Ninja Raid.
Bet. Here, I cut a trophy off of one of them.
Clay also tried to reduce the repetition required by the stealth mechanics, adding colorful vignettes and multiple variations to the enemy repertoire, including the iconic Canadian Guard.
The light went out.
Among the 4,000 or so lines of dialogue, there are Aura's friendly comments
What are
like
you doing? Are you gonna walk right up and say hi?
and poetry in form like cool as audio logs for the Culter Ninja, free world building while silently stalking your prey.
Tree must bear the wound.
Great attention has been given to the whole soundscape, trying to simulate the ninja's ears just as well as his sight, despite some issues with the final mixing. Layers of music are added to the ambient track as you play if guards are alerted or the devs want to raise the tension, including a very annoying alarm, going for a functional background more than a beautiful soundtrack. Functional like the buildings in the first levels, a generic city built before the story, following only the gameplay and the initial idea of old versus new. Modern Ninja was the title early in development. Despite some levels not being as replayable as others, the story keeps things interesting until the end, motivating exploration to learn more through audio scrolls with a high content per hour ratio, which is incidentally my goal for this channel. My name is Leonardo, and this is a 7-minute analysis I'd like to call brainy hopping, an invite to play or watch the game critically, which is also what I do on the other channel, Leonardo Bear Tactics. Thank you very much for watching. Valete, take care.